What's up guys, Cliff from the Sunday Drive, and today we're gonna be showing you how to change the battery in your Hyundai Elantra. So today we're swapping out the battery on my wife's 2018 Hyundai Elantra. This will be the same process on a lot of the model years, and we'll list those down in the description. And if I get around to it, I'll also list some compatible batteries down in the description as well for you. But let's show you how to get this swapped. Once you have your hood popped and propped open, you're gonna wanna get a 10mm socket to remove the negative battery terminal. Always start with the negative side. Once that is loose, you will simply work that out of the way, and you're gonna wanna push that somewhere out of the way where it's not gonna come back in contact with the battery. So I just grabbed a microfiber towel to kinda cover that in case it flips back over, since it keeps wanting to pop back in place. Now we're gonna lift the cover on the positive terminal. There's a little tab right here. We're gonna pull towards ourselves and lift this forward. Now you're gonna see two connections here. We only need to disconnect this one right here. Again, it's gonna be a 10mm socket. With that loose, you can lift this up. Now there is some tension on this wire right here, but it doesn't take that much force. You can get it up and over. All right, and we're just gonna push that out of the way. And now we have a 12mm bolt that holds the battery in place right down here. Remove this sleeve from around the battery. All right, I'm gonna reach down there and grab this. All right, now we can flip up this handle right here and lift that out. Now it is heavy. So this is an AGM battery that we're removing and installing. You always want to get the same specs or very close to the same specs of what you're removing. So you'll notice that the battery we're pulling out of here is 640 cold cranking amps, and the new one is 660. So you have a little bit more power, which doesn't hurt. Lift your new battery in place. You're going to want to install in the same orientation with the positive terminal on the left or passenger side and the negative on the driver's side. Grab the bracket that locks the battery in place and set that down in there. All right. Now it's a good idea to always start bolts by hand because you want to make sure they're not cross-threading. It should go in easily without any resistance. And you also don't want to impact a little bolt like this down, which could easily be broken off and then be annoying. Give the battery a little shake, make sure it's not moving anywhere. And we can take our little sleeve and slide that back in place. And then we'll start by connecting the positive and lastly the negative, so opposite of how we removed it. So let's pop this little cover off. And it's a good idea to take these covers and put them on the battery that you just removed from the vehicle, and that way you can be sure you won't accidentally connect the two terminals together while it's out. Slide that back in place right there. And snug it down by hand to make sure we're not over tightening. Now it's very important when either removing or installing a battery on a vehicle that you never touch the positive terminal with a tool that you might be using, like this wrench, over to a ground on the vehicle. So that could be any metal surface on the vehicle. So you want to be careful with that. And you also want to make sure you don't ever touch the two terminals together either. All right, so that is snug. Now we can expose the negative terminal over here. Oh, it's interesting, you gotta like pull that little lever back. Now we can wiggle this on and make sure it's fully seated all the way down. All right. Okay, and that is snug. And that is how you swap the battery on your Hyundai Elantra. Again, this happened to be a 2018 model, but it should be similar on most models. And we'll list all the exact years that this process is identical on down below in the description. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below and we'll get back to you. Take care, guys.